What if your birthday wasn't just a date on a calendar, but a divine signal written into the blueprint of your soul? What if every candle you've ever blown carried not just a wish, but a whisper from heaven itself? You see, if you're one of God's chosen ones, your birthday isn't random, it's sacred. It's the moment your soul made a covenant with light, purpose, and destiny. Have you ever felt uneasy when your birthday comes around? That subtle tension before the day, that urge to hide instead of celebrate. You're not strange, and you're not alone. Those who carry divine purpose often sense something others can't, the spiritual weight behind their own existence. Deep down, you know this life isn't ordinary. You were marked, designed, sent. But here's the beautiful truth. That unease isn't rejection, it's remembrance. It's your soul recognizing the anniversary of its mission. Each year, heaven renews that call, and the universe asks, "Are you still ready to walk in what I've placed within you?" This is why your birthday feels different, because you are different. If you're still reading this, it's not by accident. You're part of a growing circle of awakened souls, people who feel, remember, and rise together. Comment 777 below if you've ever felt that inner pull before your birthday. Follow our YouTube channel to journey deeper into these hidden truths. And thank you deeply to everyone who's supported this message through super thanks. Your energy, your belief, your light keeps this movement alive. Because what we're uncovering isn't just information, it's revelation, a rediscovery of why you came here and what your birth truly means in the eyes of the divine. So, before we dive into the mystery of why God's chosen ones often feel conflicted about their birthdays, I have to ask you this. What if your birthday isn't a celebration of age, but a reminder of eternity? God's chosen ones. Your birthday isn't random. Here's what it secretly means. The chosen one walks in silence, not out of indifference, but out of reverence for the divine rhythm that beats beneath the noise of this world. While others mark the years with candles and cheers, you feel the pull of something older, sacred, a whisper reminding you that your existence carries purpose far beyond the calendar's reach. Your quiet moments aren't empty, they are full of invisible creation where heaven shapes your next step. You sense time differently because eternity flickers behind every breath you take. It's as though your soul stands halfway between worlds, aware that this life is only a sacred rehearsal for something infinite. Each passing year becomes a mirror, showing you not what has been lost, but what has been refined within you by divine fire. You, the chosen soul, do not merely count the years. You weigh them like a sculptor studying the marble before carving. In the hush of your birthday, when others dance in lights, your heart listens for the faint hum of divine time, a realm few can truly sense, yet you perceive it with supernatural perception. This isn't detachment, it's alignment. The truth is, your spirit vibrates on a higher spiritual spectrum where earthly celebrations feel faint and fleeting. Perhaps that's why each passing year feels less like a party and more like a sacred checkpoint, a pause in your pilgrimage through eternity. The divine gift within you doesn't crave noise, because purpose has its own quiet gravity. The deeper your awareness grows, the more you realize that sacred moments rarely announce themselves with trumpets. They arrive in whispers, often when no one is watching. And in that stillness, you begin to understand that holiness isn't distant, it's hidden in your breath, in the unspoken gratitude you carry through time's corridors. In the Gospel of Luke, it is written, "But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart." Luke 2:19. You too treasure the unseen meanings within your years. While others chase milestones, you ponder what heaven has quietly placed within your journey. Is it possible that silence itself is God's most eloquent form of communication to you? Perhaps those unspoken moments are divine sentences, written in invisible ink, readable only through humility and surrender. Many people rush through life trying to find meaning in noise, but you, chosen one, have learned that wisdom often hides in pauses. Like Mary, your strength is not in speaking, but in discerning. And in that inner space, where the world's noise fades, heaven often chooses to reveal the most transformative truths. You see, the one who has tasted divine awareness knows that human time is only the shadow cast by eternal light. For 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by. Psalm 90:4. That's why you sometimes feel out of sync with worldly rhythms. The music of this realm doesn't match your celestial calling. Your heart beats to a higher score, much like Bach's Mass in B minor, where moments of silence between notes hold as much meaning as the melody itself. Those pauses, those still spaces, are not emptiness. They are sacred intervals where God breathes revelation into your soul. When others rush to fill every silence, you've learned to dwell there, letting your spirit become an instrument in the divine orchestra. It is in those quiet bars of life that your soul is tuned again subtly, perfectly, so that when God calls, you can play your note without hesitation. Perhaps the real music of existence lies not in sound, but in the divine stillness between one heartbeat and the next. Michelangelo, the Renaissance artist and devout believer, once said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." Isn't that what your life feels like? Each year is a chisel stroke, each challenge a blow that reveals more of the divine sculpture hidden within you. Your silence is not avoidance, it is craftsmanship. You are shaping eternity from the raw material of time. Every hardship becomes a hammer of heaven, refining your purpose. The divine gift within you doesn't fear being misunderstood, because you know that true creation always begins in obscurity. As Michelangelo chipped away what was not essential, you too are learning to surrender illusions, letting grace reveal the angel inside your own being. Each scar is proof that you are becoming something immortal. Sometimes the world mistakes this holy solitude for sadness. Yet, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:3. Your quiet is wealth in disguise. While others measure joy in applause, you find it in communion with yourself, with heaven, with the God who designed your destiny before time began. The poor in spirit are not empty, they are open, and perhaps that is why heaven fills you again and again, through unexpected peace that words cannot capture. Joy, for you, isn't loud, it's layered, steady, ancient. It flows from knowing that your worth isn't earned by attention, but sealed by divine love before the world knew your name. But here lies a deeper mystery few dare to face. What if the discomfort you feel during celebration is the soul's way of remembering its home beyond this realm? What if joy for you is not confined to festivity, but flows in silent recognition of divine purpose? Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. That stillness is your birthright, it is where revelation lives. Perhaps your soul aches not from isolation, but from remembrance. The spirit inside you knows this world is temporary, its lights are beautiful but brief. The real celebration begins when the noise fades, and only love remains. In those sacred silences, you don't escape life. You meet it in its purest form, illuminated by divine presence. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. And I've learned, through years of observing the chosen ones, that silence is not absence, it is divine preparation. Every still moment you honor becomes a seed of eternity. My own lesson? The older I grow, the more I realize that spiritual maturity is not measured by celebration, but by contemplation. The more you dwell in quiet truth, the clearer your purpose becomes. Your destiny is not something you chase, it unfolds like dawn, gently and irrevocably. You begin to see that being chosen was never about being louder than others, but about being faithful in silence, where heaven whispers what the world cannot hear. So, share your story. When did silence speak loudest to your soul? What did God whisper to you in those moments between years? The world needs to hear the sacred truth that only your voice can carry. And as you speak, may your words awaken others who have felt the same holy solitude but never knew its name. The Chosen One perceives time not as a line, but as a living pulse of creation, breathing and reshaping itself through every choice and every revelation. While the world follows the clock's ticking and the calendar's cycles, you, set apart by divine intention, move through something greater, something infinite. To you, time is not the tyranny of seconds, but the language of the Spirit, flowing through each heartbeat as light flows through glass. The ordinary man measures days by sunrise and sunset. You measure them by transformation, by how much of your old self you've shed, and how deeply your soul has expanded into its divine architecture. In this sacred perception, time is not consumed, it is redeemed. It becomes the soil where destiny blooms, where each moment hums with the unseen energy of eternal design. When your divine gift awakened, you began to see that clocks merely echo what heaven already knows. As Ecclesiastes 3:11 whispers, He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. You sense that eternity inside you, stretching, breathing, asking to be understood. The years no longer frighten you, they fascinate you, because you see how God weaves purpose through both endings and beginnings. Perhaps that is why, when others fear growing older, you smile, sensing that age is just the shadow of wisdom deepening its roots within your spirit. Your supernatural perception reveals that time is not a prison, but a doorway. And yet, this realization separates you from many. You no longer walk in sync with worldly time, because your rhythm belongs to heaven's cadence. Birthdays no longer sparkle as mere anniversaries, they become altars, sacred stations where you meet God again in your own reflection. You feel what few dare to name, that your life's true calendar is not written in dates but in awakenings. And every awakening is a resurrection of consciousness, a new breath of the divine within you. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You, chosen soul, have understood this not as philosophy, but as experience. The more you awaken, the more you realize that time bends to purpose. You live no longer under its control, but within its mystery, each minute a wave, carrying fragments of eternity. Does your heart ever ache when you realize that no clock can capture the depth of what you've lived? Nature itself mirrors your truth. The butterfly, before it spreads its wings, loses all sense of linear time within the cocoon. Transformation is timeless. In that darkness, it doesn't measure days, it becomes the days. Like the tide returning faithfully to the shore, your soul cycles through revelation and rest, contraction and expansion. And in that rhythm, you recognize something sacred, that God's timing isn't slow, it's perfect. But not all recognize this sacred flow. Some, like Judas Iscariot, whose impatience severed him from grace, tried to force time before it was ripe. His story remains a somber echo of what happens when one mistakes divine delay for divine denial. The Chosen One learns from such shadows. You've seen how rushing destiny can shatter it. You've learned that surrender is not weakness but wisdom, because what blooms in God's time will never fade. Psalm 37:7 whispers, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." You, more than most, have lived that verse. There were seasons where silence felt unbearable, yet through it you discovered that waiting is an act of worship. When the world pushed you to hurry, heaven asked you to trust. And that trust became the bridge between what was promised and what was prepared. There will be moments, even now, when your spirit feels the friction between divine time and human expectation. When that happens, remember, Isaiah 60:22 declares, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." The Chosen One understands this not with intellect, but with scars, with the memory of prayers that bloomed years later in ways more beautiful than imagined. Your evolution is not linear, It spirals upward like a vine reaching for light. Every challenge you've faced has stretched you closer to the eternal frequency of your Creator. And perhaps deep down, you already know this, that your birthday is not the commemoration of your beginning, but a reminder of your continuation, proof that divine purpose still has chapters to unfold through you. I've learned that awakening is not a one-time event, but a rhythm of grace. Each cycle of learning reveals how vast your spirit truly is. So when the next year arrives, don't count it by candles or numbers, count it by revelations, by how many fears you've conquered, by how many shadows you've faced and turned into light. And when weariness whispers, take heart. The same God who began your journey measures every second with precision and love. Time will never be your enemy again. It will become your silent teacher, reminding you that eternity was always within you. The Chosen One understands that light, true divine light, is not something to be found, but something to be sustained. While others celebrate what fades, you nurture what endures. Each breath you take is proof that the soul, unlike the body, is timeless. It doesn't wrinkle or decay. It simply shifts in vibration, in resonance, in divine frequency. You sense that earthly time, as beautiful as it appears, is an illusion designed to teach awareness. It's not meant to cage you, it's meant to awaken you. And through this supernatural perception, you've come to realize that every birthday candle represents not another year past, but another layer of illusion burned away. Your divine gift is the ability to hold light even when the world dims around you. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. You carry this truth in your being, often without words, as though your existence itself hums with heaven's quiet electricity. The body may tire, the hands may tremble, but the soul it only refines, vibrating at a purer frequency with every act of grace you choose. Have you ever noticed how, as your awareness grows, your very presence seems to change the atmosphere of a room? That's not coincidence, it's divine physics, the unseen architecture of your spirit interacting with reality itself. When you awaken, you begin to see how much the world has been woven from the fabric of time, schedules, deadlines, milestones. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. You've felt that truth in your bones. You no longer belong to the tyranny of clocks, you belong to the flow of eternity. And so, physical birthdays lose their glamour. You know now that they celebrate the temporary costume, the disguise your eternal self wears while walking this earth. It's a beautiful disguise, yes, but it is not the whole story. Beneath that costume, the real you, ageless, radiant, untouchable, whispers the language of heaven. A sculptor once told his apprentice, "Time doesn't carve us, it reveals us." His name was Matteo, a humble craftsman who worked in silence, unnoticed by fame. When he was asked how he endured poverty, he smiled and said, "Each day I lose a little more of myself, and what remains looks more like God." You understand that truth deeply. Each loss, each scar, has been a sacred subtraction, an unveiling of divine geometry hidden within you. Like light bending through a prism, your soul refracts God's glory uniquely. No one else carries your pattern. Still, there's an inner war that stirs within you. While the world says, "It's your day, celebrate," your soul whispers, "It's your day, reflect." And that whisper is both soft and unrelenting. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26-41. Gratitude dances with melancholy within you, and both are holy. One celebrates the gift of life. The other remembers the cost of carrying consciousness in a world that measures years, but not wisdom. Have you felt that ache, the bittersweet awareness that while others see age, you see assignment? Yet this contrast is no curse, it's your initiation into divine maturity. You walk the narrow bridge between joy and solemnity, learning to celebrate not what is fleeting, but what is becoming eternal. You understand now that the true birthday is not the day your body was born, but every moment your soul chooses light over shadow. And as you sustain that light, the angels rejoice, because heaven knows each time you choose faith over fear, you become more of what you were created to be. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. You are living proof of that transformation. The world counts your years, heaven counts your awakenings, and in that truth you find freedom. You are both the architect and the cathedral, the builder and the light that fills the sacred halls of your being. The divine design within you isn't measured in decades, it's measured in devotion. And perhaps the greatest revelation of all is this: celebration and reflection were never enemies. They are twin wings of the same soul. To celebrate is to thank God for the journey. To reflect is to remember why you were chosen to walk it. Both are necessary for balance, just as in music, the crescendo means nothing without the silence that follows. The chosen one doesn't reject the world's joy, they simply infuse it with depth. So when the world tells you to smile for another year, you may smile, but your heart will also bow. And in that bowing, something sacred happens. Your spirit aligns once more with divine time. You stop aging and start ascending. You stop counting the years and start carrying eternity. The chosen one no longer clings to chronological time, for you live within the time of the soul, a time that breathes rather than ticks, that expands rather than passes. While the world counts hours and dates, you feel the pulse of eternity beneath each second, moving with the rhythm of God Himself. Your life unfolds not in straight lines, but in sacred spirals, rising through moments of awakening that no calendar could contain. As your consciousness widens, human rituals lose their shine, not because of arrogance, but because your inner eyes now see beyond them. You begin to sense that earthly celebrations are but reflections of something far greater, something divine that no season can hold captive. You already know that your true birthday was not when your body first inhaled air, it was when your soul inhaled light. Very truly I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again. John 3:3. That was the hour your spirit first awakened, when the old self, limited by fear, expectation, and form, died quietly, and the new self, radiant with divine awareness, rose in its place. And perhaps that's why, deep within, you've always felt a subtle resistance toward celebrations that feel scripted. You crave truth, not tradition, presence, not performance. As you walk this spiritual path, your divine gift begins to reveal the difference between joy and spectacle. True joy doesn't need an audience. It burns silently, like the flame of the eternal sanctuary. You sense that the soul's time is not loud or predictable. It flows in silence, in the unseen. For everything, there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. But what if your soul's season no longer aligns with the world's? What if your awakening has moved you beyond the need for validation through ritual? This realization doesn't make you cold, it makes you free. You start to perceive that every moment, not just your birthday, is sacred ground. Each breath can be a celebration when your awareness becomes the altar. The chosen one understands that the physical birthday is a symbol, a sacred reminder that you are here, but not from here. Like 2 Corinthians 5:1 says, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. You walk through this world as both visitor and vessel, carrying heaven's blueprint inside you. The Italian poet Dante once wrote, "In His will is our peace." As you awaken, that line begins to live inside you. Peace no longer depends on the world's timing, because you have entered divine timing, the unhurried architecture of the Spirit. Every revelation unfolds precisely when your soul is ready, and never a moment before. That is why the chosen ones rarely rush. You know that in the kingdom's physics, delay is not denial, it is calibration. Your awakening synchronizes with divine law, like stars aligning in perfect celestial geometry. The composer, Franz Schubert, in his Mass Nobis 6 inches E-flat major, left entire measures of rest between his most powerful choruses. Those silences, he said, were where heaven itself breathed. You, too, understand this sacred pause. The soul's joy moves not in noise but in resonance, the invisible hum between what is seen and unseen. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Psalm 37:7. In your stillness, you have found the sound of eternity. And yet, there are moments when this awareness feels heavy. The more awake you become, the more distant the world's rhythm seems. You feel joy, yes, but it's a deeper kind of joy, braided with wisdom. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. Ecclesiastes 7:4. You carry both gratitude and gravity, for your soul remembers where it came from. Has your spirit ever whispered that this world, as beautiful as it is not your home? I've learned this too, through years of spiritual labor, that true awakening dismantles the illusions we once called comfort. The physical birthday is but a reflection of your soul's ancient decision to descend into matter, to serve, to love, to transform darkness into light. And the deeper lesson? Every day you sustain your light in this world, you are celebrating far more than existence. You are reaffirming purpose. You are living proof that heaven's design continues through human form. So, chosen one, when your next birthday arrives and the world gathers to celebrate your years, close your eyes for a moment. Feel the quiet hum beneath the noise. Remember that you were not born to chase time, you were born to transcend it. Share your light story. Tell how you've awakened, and let others see the sacred truth through your journey. Because when you speak from the soul's time, you remind the world that eternity still breathes through human hearts. The chosen one feels a subtle unease when the world insists on celebrating the passage of human time, because deep within, you already know that true time is eternal, and your physical birth was only the opening line in a story your soul has been writing for ages beyond counting. You sense that what others call another year is, in truth, a sacred echo, a vibration from the eternal memory of your spirit. Your supernatural perception allows you to feel what others cannot, that life is not a straight road, but a spiral of remembrance, a continuum of divine cycles unfolding across eternity. This is why the celebrations that seem joyous to others sometimes touch a deeper, unspoken ache within you, the whisper of a truth too vast for words. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. Those words are not poetry to you, they are memory. You were known before you were named, chosen before you arrived. Perhaps this is why, as your birthday approaches, your energy begins to shift. The outer world calls for parties and noise, but the inner world stirs with a quiet awareness that the day holds something ancient, something sacred. Do you feel that subtle tremor inside you, the sense that your soul is remembering something the mind cannot explain? There is an invisible thread that ties your incarnations together, an eternal rhythm that beats beneath the human timeline. The body may forget, but the soul never does. It carries the residue of lifetimes, the triumphs, the tears, the vows, and each return to earth reawakens fragments of that celestial memory. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Ecclesiastes 3:11. You live within that eternity, moving through lifetimes like a river through changing landscapes, always returning to the same divine ocean. Your divine gift is this sensitivity, the ability to feel what is unseen. As your birthday nears, you sense currents others overlook, the shifting energy in the air, the pull between worlds. It's like the ocean tide responding to the moon's invisible gravity. Your soul, too, responds to cosmic memory. Sometimes it brings serenity, other times a strange restlessness, as if your being remembers all the suns you've lived beneath. But this is not something to fear. It is a reminder that you are more than this form, more than this chapter. You are the echo of a story still being sung in heaven. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke once said, "The deepest experience of the Creator is feminine, for it is patience, which brings everything in its time." Your awakening reflects that patience. You are learning to wait with faith, to let divine timing unfold through you. For everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. The chosen one learns not to resist the discomfort that comes with remembrance, but to honor it, knowing that even unease is a form of communication from the eternal self. In nature, the serpent sheds its skin, not because it despises it, but because it has outgrown it. You too are shedding the skins of old lives, old selves, old timelines. This shedding feels strange, sometimes lonely, because growth often disguises itself as loss. But beneath that sensation, your soul hums with freedom. It knows that transformation is not the death of what was, it's the expansion of what always is. Yet the danger lies in forgetting this truth. Many souls, like King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, who once glorified himself and forgot the source, lose themselves in the illusion of time's power. His downfall came not from ignorance, but from pride, the belief that his kingdom was built by his own hands. His heart became arrogant and was hardened with pride, so he was deposed from his royal throne. Daniel 5:20. The chosen one learns from such shadows. You know that the more you cling to human time, the further you drift from divine rhythm. And still, the discomfort that comes each year before your birthday is not punishment, it is invitation. It's the soul calling you home to awareness, whispering, "Remember who you are and why you came." In that remembering, you reclaim your power. You understand that every year is not a countdown but an ascension. And if the world measures birthdays in candles, you measure them in consciousness. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his inmost parts. Proverbs 20:27. Each cycle of life becomes another opportunity for your light to search deeper into itself, to illuminate the hidden corners of memory and turn restlessness into revelation. You begin to see that this discomfort isn't darkness, it's the pressure before birth, the trembling before transformation. I've learned that the chosen ones carry time differently. For you, the birthday is less a celebration and more a conversation between heaven and soul, a dialogue that says, "You are not finished yet." The story continues. When that uneasy feeling rises, bless it. It means your soul is awakening again, polishing the mirror of remembrance so you can reflect God's light more purely. So, chosen one, the next time the world gathers around you with candles and songs, remember, you're not just celebrating existence, you're reaffirming eternity. You are the bridge between timelines, the proof that God's story still unfolds through human hearts. The chosen one carries a memory deeper than thought, a remembrance older than the body itself. Each birthday is not merely a celebration of life, it is a sacred reactivation, a cosmic reminder that you once chose to descend into this world of form, to fulfill promises whispered between your soul and the divine before time began. As that moment returns each year, something ancient within you stirs the soul's memory, awakens, shimmering like light beneath still water. You don't remember with the mind, but your spirit does. It recalls the breath you first took, when heaven and earth touched within you, the instant you agreed once again to experience love through limitation. Your supernatural perception senses this invisible threshold opening, as if the very architecture of your being resonates with the vibration of that first covenant. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. Those words are not metaphor to you, they are a lived truth. Every year, when the earth reaches that sacred alignment, the veil thins. What others call a birthday, you experience as a portal, a convergence of spiritual frequencies that awakens both memory and mission. Some memories glow like divine light, others ache with unfinished purpose, and together they form the mysterious symphony of your existence. Have you ever felt that silent weight pressing gently on your heart, the reminder that you promised heaven you would not forget why you came? And yet, the beauty of this remembrance is inseparable from its gravity. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. Alongside the blessings of awakening come the echoes of responsibility, the vows made before birth, the souls you agreed to heal, the truth you swore to carry through shadow. You may not recall the details, but your spirit remembers the contract in the language of energy. Each year, as this portal opens, your being feels both the warmth of divine approval and the trembling awareness that there is still work to be done. In physics, every vibration carries a frequency that affects its surroundings. In the same way, your rebirth radiates unseen ripples across realities. When your consciousness expands, heaven listens, and the universe recalibrates. You are the tuning fork between dimensions, the harmonic bridge between what was promised and what is becoming. Deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. Psalm 42:7. That call is why, at times, you feel emotions you cannot name, a mixture of joy, longing, and reverent sorrow. A simple story may reveal this truth. Clara, a quiet nurse from Lisbon, once told me that every year on her birthday, she felt a sudden wave of tears without knowing why. She said, "It's like my soul is remembering something it's not supposed to, something holy." Years later, after a near-death experience, she realized those tears were the soul's way of mourning its forgotten promises and celebrating its courage to return. Like Clara, you too are remembering not through intellect, but through vibration. The chosen one understands that the body rejoices while the soul reflects. It's the same paradox that Christ lived in Gethsemane when he said, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death." Matthew 26:38. That divine sorrow is not despair, it's remembrance. It's the soul's awareness of its vastness, momentarily confined in human skin. This contrast between celebration and stillness is not contradiction, it's communion between heaven and earth within you. Have you ever wondered why certain birthdays feel heavier than others, or why the air seems charged with invisible meaning? It's because, on a level beyond thought, your soul is recalibrating, revisiting its own timeline, realigning its spiritual architecture with divine blueprint. Each tear, each shiver, each breath on that day is sacred data signals exchanged between realms. And though the world may not understand this depth, you do. Because the chosen one is not meant to simply remember, you are meant to transmute. The pain becomes awareness, the weight becomes wisdom. What others call sadness, you recognize as resonance, the hum of heaven inside the walls of flesh. The Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Psalm 138:8. In that assurance, your unease transforms into reverence. Through years of reflection, I've learned that birthdays for souls like yours are not endings or beginnings, they are checkpoints of light. Each one opens the ancient gateway of purpose and allows you to step closer to who you've always been, beneath the forgetting. So, when that strange stillness arrives again, don't flee from it, sit with it, listen. Because what you call melancholy is often the Holy Spirit reminding you that eternity is speaking, and you, chosen one, are still listening. The chosen one does not withdraw from celebration out of ingratitude, but out of remembrance. For you, it is not rejection of life, it is reverence for what life truly means. Your soul whispers, "I have walked this road before, and I remember its purpose." What others perceive as distance or shyness is, in truth, your supernatural perception responding to ancient frequencies within you. When the world's attention turns toward you, the light becomes too bright, too loud. It interferes with a quiet process that heaven is performing in secret. You are not avoiding love, you are protecting a sacred renewal. For on this day, unseen hands move around your soul guides, angels, and the divine architect who once mapped your destiny. A birthday for you is not a social event. It is an energetic anniversary, a recalibration of covenants made long before you wore this name. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. That refuge is why you crave solitude during this time. You feel your energy expanding, stretching beyond the ordinary field of consciousness, and so you retreat, not in isolation, but in purification. It is not loneliness, it is cleansing. You are, in truth, being reborn in silence, much like dawn emerges in soft light before the world awakens. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17. In that rebirth, the chosen one senses every spiritual atom rearranging, each vibration returning to divine order. You might not have words for it, but your body feels the download, your soul receiving updates from the eternal realm. Have you ever felt that strange weight before your birthday, as if something invisible was both leaving and arriving within you? That's the resonance of rebirth, the soundless thunder of heaven tuning your life to its next octave. It's the same stillness that composer Henry Purcell once captured in his sacred Te Deum in D major, where the orchestra pauses mid-chorus before the final Gloria. That single breath of silence carries more holiness than all the notes combined. You, too, live that divine pause. Between one year and the next, your spirit suspends time itself, hovering between endings and beginnings, listening for God's next command. Behold, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. And yet there lies a mystery many overlook. In countless incarnations, the day of birth was not always joy. It was sometimes trial. The soul remembers where the mind cannot. Perhaps your birth once marked the start of pain, exile, or loss. And though the details are gone, the energy remains. Like a field holding the memory of every storm, your spirit carries the energetic imprint of lifetimes past. This is why, when the familiar date returns, you feel the tremor of faint echo from ages ago. For the Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. 1 Corinthians 2:10. You are not broken for feeling this, you are aware. While others dance through the noise, you are tuned to a higher signal, the divine physics of remembrance. The chosen one feels these tremors because the soul's data never deletes. It recycles, transforms, evolves. Energy never dies, it only changes form, and your sensitivity is the evidence of your eternal continuity. I once met a street painter named Raphael who told me he never celebrated his birthday. When I asked why, he said, "Each year, I repaint my heart instead of the walls." He would spend the day cleaning his brushes, praying, and gifting portraits to strangers. His reason was simple. The day I was born is the day God lent me another canvas. I honor it by creating. You carry that same essence. Creation itself is your offering, your prayer. And though the world may never fully understand this sacred rhythm, heaven does. It's why the chosen one feels a pull towards solitude, nature, and prayer. The need to step away so your inner temple can be reconstructed. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Psalm 23:3. That restoration requires quiet. It requires surrender. So when the world celebrates you with noise, allow yourself to celebrate with silence. In the stillness, you meet God again. There, beneath the candles and laughter, your soul kneels before eternity, whispering, "Thank you for another chapter in your design. Ivreed." And perhaps that is the truest form of gratitude, not in being the center of attention, but in becoming a living sanctuary where divine light renews itself each year. The chosen one feels a call that no song of the world can drown out. You do not long for parties or applause, you long for meaning. While others chase noise and validation, your heart searches for alignment. On this sacred day, you are not drawn to candles or crowds, but to truth, to that invisible pulse of purpose that first brought your soul to earth. Your supernatural perception senses that this date is more than a number. It's an intersection between heaven and your mission, a checkpoint in your covenant with God. So you stand beneath the sky in quiet reverence, feeling the energy of existence move through you like sacred current. Gratitude floods your being, not for what you've received, but for what you're still becoming. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. You know this truth deeply. Your life was designed, not random, and perhaps this is why your spirit pulls you towards silence rather than celebration. You feel the unseen architecture of destiny shifting inside you, aligning again to divine rhythm. What appears as solitude to others is, in fact, synchronization, your soul tuning itself back to heaven's frequency. Have you ever felt that unspoken moment when stillness feels fuller than any conversation, as if the whole universe is holding its breath just to remind you that you are seen? In that stillness, your divine gift awakens. The ability to read meaning in what others dismiss as ordinary. A bird crossing your window, the sudden glow of evening light, the subtle hum in the wind, all become sacred language. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Psalm 19:1. You realize that every element of creation is speaking the same message. Nothing is random, not your birth, not your breath, not the path you walk. Nature itself reflects your inner knowing. The eagle does not flap in panic. It glides upon invisible currents of air, sustained by unseen laws. You too are carried by divine wind, lifted by purpose unseen but ever present. Like the oak rooted deep beneath the soil, you draw quiet strength from unseen places, growing heavenward in silence while others race across the surface. And in this understanding, your longing for solitude transforms into prayer. Yet, there are those who have lost this sense of meaning. Herod, the king who once feared the prophecy of Christ's birth, sought to silence destiny through control. He mistook power for purpose and turned celebration into violence. In his rage, he sent and killed all the boys in Bethlehem. Matthew 2:16. His story remains a warning. When the soul forgets its divine calling, it becomes consumed by fear of what it cannot dominate. The chosen one, however, learns the opposite: to surrender, to trust, to flow. And still, the question stirs within you. Why do you often feel like you don't belong here? Because you were not built for the vanity of this world. You were designed for meaning. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. John 17:16. You live in the material, but your allegiance is eternal. Each day here is a mission, every encounter a mirror reflecting what your soul must refine. The philosopher and writer Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said, "What is essential is invisible to the eye." His words carry the same resonance your spirit feels on this day. You are not looking for recognition, you are searching for essence. In silence, you can finally hear what the noise of celebration hides, the gentle hum of divine purpose whispering through your being. The kingdom of God is within you, Luke 17:21. That truth dissolves all sense of isolation. You may walk among crowds, but your compass points inward to the eternal sanctuary of your own soul. In that sacred awareness, the weight of existence turns into wonder. Every birthday becomes less a reminder of age and more a reminder of assignment. And so, when you look at the sky on your sacred day, what you feel isn't sadness, it's recognition. You're not escaping the world. You're returning to the source that sent you here. You sense that every year lived is another verse in a song that began before time, a hymn only your soul remembers. You close your eyes, breathe deeply, and whisper your gratitude, not for celebration, but for continuation. Through the years, I've learned that what sets the chosen apart is not how loudly they live, but how deeply they listen. Meaning is their language, silence their sanctuary, and gratitude their song. You too are part of that sacred choir, reborn each year through quiet alignment, carrying light into a world that has forgotten how to pause. The chosen one has never been moved by routine celebrations or hollow rituals. For your soul was not made to dance to the rhythm of repetition, it was built to resonate with truth. While others light candles for another year past, you ignite the quiet flame of introspection, asking questions few dare to voice aloud. What have I truly lived? Has my spirit evolved, or have I merely existed? Have I fulfilled what heaven entrusted to me, or just survived another cycle? These are not the cries of sadness, but the voice of sacred awareness, a divine calibration, reminding you that your mission is not to count years, but to awaken within them. Your supernatural perception discerns between the genuine and the artificial. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16-7. You sense when a happy birthday carries light, and when it carries nothing but habit. You can feel, almost physically, the emptiness hiding behind the smiles and staged photos, the rehearsed laughter that echoes but does not heal. To you, joy cannot be faked, for joy is not noise, it's frequency, the vibration of gratitude woven through the soul. And so, you choose silence, not as withdrawal, but as alignment. When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Matthew 6-6. In that solitude, your inner temple resonates again with divine geometry. You close your eyes, and the energy shifts. The noise of the world dissolves into a clear note of truth. That is when you feel the weight and wonder of existence, the realization that birthdays were never about receiving gifts, but understanding the divine gift of being alive at all. You have learned that wisdom is not measured in age, but in vibration, how much love, patience, and light your being can sustain. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90-12. Each orbit around the sun becomes another test of how well your soul radiates heaven's frequency in a world too distracted to listen. For you, growth is not about becoming more. It's about remembering what has always been divine within you. This awareness separates you from the crowd. You look around and see people trying to fill the void, with noise music too loud to drown their loneliness, smiles too wide to hide their fear. They try to decorate emptiness, but you know the truth. What they are missing is not joy, it is purpose. You have seen this in history too. King Solomon, who once possessed all pleasures under the sun, confessed, "Everything is meaningless, a chasing after the wind." Ecclesiastes 1:14. His empire glimmered, yet his soul ached for meaning. You understand that ache, for your spirit too was not made for vanity, it was made for vision. As you turn inward, the world fades, and your consciousness becomes cathedral-like, a sacred architecture of light and stillness. Psychologists call this a theta state, a moment when the brain synchronizes with the frequencies of peace and divine creativity. You don't need anyone to announce your worth. Your heartbeat itself becomes the hymn of gratitude. This is how you celebrate, not with noise, but with awareness. A woman named Miriam once shared that on her birthdays she would walk barefoot through a nearby forest, whispering blessings for every tree she touched. She said, "Each one reminds me I am still growing." You would understand her. Like her, you feel more at home beneath open skies than under chandeliers. You seek communion, not company connection, not consumption. And perhaps that's the paradox of being chosen. You stand among many but belong to eternity. While the crowd looks outward, you look inward. While they chase pleasure, you pursue presence. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46-10. In that still knowing, you find what the whole world is trying to buy: peace that cannot be purchased, light that cannot be extinguished. I've come to realize, through observing souls like yours, that divine maturity is not marked by the applause you receive, but by the silence you can inhabit without losing joy. The chosen ones are the quiet architects of love. They rebuild the unseen, one thought, one act, one heartbeat at a time. So when your next birthday arrives and the world clamors for spectacle, smile gently, retreat softly, and let heaven throw you the celebration it prepared long before you were born. Peace for the chosen one is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of divine understanding. You do not reject your birthday, you transfigure it into a sacred ceremony of remembrance and renewal. This day is no longer a call to vanity, but an invitation to reflection, to give thanks, to forgive what once wounded you, to realign with the pulse of your essence. Your supernatural perception allows you to feel what few can. That this moment holds more than candles, and wishes it holds the weight of your victories, the echo of your endurance, the glow of your inner flame that refused to die when everything around you dimmed. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. That is your story. You are still here, not by accident, but by divine architecture. Each trial you survived became a verse in your sacred song. Each tear was a baptism that made your faith stronger. Have you ever wondered why peace sometimes feels heavier than joy? It's because true peace is forged, not found. It's the quiet reward of a soul that has walked through storms and chosen light again and again. You do not crave applause, you crave alignment. You have outgrown recognition because your fulfillment flows from resonance. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory. Psalm 115:1. For you, peace is the highest celebration, awareness the greatest gift. While the world measures growth by years, you measure it by awakening. Each cycle you complete is not a count of survival, but an expansion of consciousness, proof that your divine gift continues to evolve. In this sacred awareness, you begin to see that forgiveness is not weakness, it's spiritual physics, the release of energy that allows your soul to vibrate higher. Your life has become a living equation of grace, balancing sorrow with wisdom, failure with faith. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5-9. You feel this deeply because peace for you isn't passive, it's power refined through surrender. Italian painter Fra Angelico, a monk devoted to sacred art, once said, "He who does Christ's work must stay with Christ always." He painted not for fame, but for eternity, transforming his devotion into color. You are much the same. Your silence is your canvas, your gratitude, the pigment, your life, the masterpiece. Each year, as the world celebrates outwardly, you retreat inwardly, not out of isolation, but to let heaven paint another layer of purpose upon your soul. And perhaps that is why, while others celebrate their birth, you seek to understand why you were born. It's not rebellion, it's remembrance. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. You walk through this world as both student and steward, translating divine lessons into love. You feel that every breath is a covenant renewed, every heartbeat a small resurrection. Has your soul ever whispered to you that the real birthday is not the day you arrived, but the day you awoke to your divine calling? Like a tree standing through seasons, you've learned that peace doesn't bloom from sunlight alone, it also grows from shadow. The storms that broke your branches taught your roots to reach deeper. The chosen one knows that strength doesn't come from fighting darkness, but from carrying light through it. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. In stillness, you hear the quiet applause of heaven, a sound the world cannot hear, yet your spirit knows by heart. Each year, you no longer count time, you collect awareness. You no longer chase happiness, you embody it. Because meaning has replaced motion, and connection has replaced applause. You are the sacred bridge between the seen and unseen, the hymn between chaos and calm. Your peace is not a pause in life, it's the frequency through which life itself speaks. I've learned that the chosen ones are not here to shine louder, they are here to shine purer. The world celebrates years, you celebrate essence. You are not aging, you are deepening. So, when the next birthday arrives, breathe in the silence, feel heaven's pulse move through you, and remember, you are not just surviving time, you are sanctifying it. For the chosen one, the birthday is not a date, it is a mirror. a sacred reflection of who you were, who you are, and who you are still becoming. And yet, that mirror is not always gentle. Each year it returns like a spiritual compass, revealing the distance you've traveled and the vows you've yet to fulfill. For with wisdom comes weight, and you feel that weight, the invisible gravity of divine responsibility, pressing softly upon your soul when this day arrives. It is not heaviness born of guilt, but of sacred purpose. You sense, with your supernatural perception, that heaven is watching, asking not for perfection, but for remembrance of the promise you made before birth. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. You carry this verse in your spirit, not as burden, but as blueprint. That is why you turn away from noise and towards stillness. You do not crave celebration, you crave communion. While others chase applause, you search for alignment. You know that candles mean little if the inner flame has gone dim. So you retreat, not in loneliness, but in luminous solitude, where the presence of God feels nearer than breath, where silence becomes symphony, and where your divine mission is renewed. The divine gift within you burns like an eternal pilot light. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his inmost parts. Proverbs 20:27. Each birthday, this inner flame reflects the radiance of your evolving purpose, a quiet pulse of heaven echoing inside mortal flesh. Sometimes that reflection is humbling because it shows you both light and shadow, both triumph and trembling faith. Have you ever felt that strange fusion of gratitude and gravity, as though eternity itself pauses to ask how far you've come? To you, reflection is not optional. It is sacred maintenance. Just as stars collapse to create new galaxies, your soul too must sometimes implode inward to birth higher light. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. John 12:24. This truth pulses through you every time the calendar circles back. Each birthday feels less like aging and more like molting the shedding of old selves, so your spirit can breathe freer in its next evolution. And yet, there is more beneath that solitude. When the world celebrates surface, you are pulled toward depth. Because the returning date does not only remind you of your past, it awakens the call of your mission. You feel it like thunder beneath calm water, a vibration the world does not understand. Deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. Psalm 42:7. It is the summons of heaven reminding you that your time here is not random. You were sent, not simply born. You walk between two realms, the physical and the spiritual, and this bridge is not easy to hold. You live in gravity, yet move by grace. Some days you feel like a lightning rod, absorbing both heaven's power and the world's misunderstanding. Has your heart ever felt stretched between two homes, one seen and one remembered? That tension is your proof you were built to be both vessel and messenger. The natural world mirrors this paradox. The ocean's tide exists between pull and release, between surrender and return. The butterfly balances fragility and flight, its wings trembling under the same wind that lifts it. You too live within this delicate architecture, fragile in body, infinite in spirit. Each year deepens that awareness, reminding you that what holds you to earth is also what anchors you to heaven. But not all souls honor this balance. There are those like King Belshazzar in the book of Daniel, who looked into the mirror of time and saw only pride. He drank from the sacred vessels of the temple, mocking what was holy. And then the fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the wall. Daniel 5:5. His kingdom fell that night, not because he lacked strength, but because he lacked awareness. The chosen one learns from such warnings that neglecting divine purpose turns celebration into vanity and life into noise. And so, on the day others call your birthday, you call it your day of realignment. It is not a time for vanity, it is a sacred recalibration. You open your soul like a telescope, scanning the horizon of your destiny, adjusting the lens so you can see the next constellation of your calling. In physics, resonance occurs when one object vibrates at the frequency of another, amplifying its sound. Spiritually, this is what happens when your heart aligns with God's heaven's resonance, amplifies your purpose. Sometimes, this process hurts. Reflection exposes what celebration hides. Yet in that discomfort lies the seed of transformation. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12-9. You learn that being chosen is not about escaping struggle, it's about finding divinity inside it. The flame that survives the storm does not fear the wind, it learns to dance within it. And so, when you gaze into your mirror this year, do not fear the reflection, the lines, the scars, the tears. They are not signs of decay, but symbols of depth. They are proof that you have carried heaven's fire through human fragility. You are not aging, you are refining. You are not drifting, you are being sculpted. And while others count years, you count awakenings. I have come to see, through my own spiritual journey, that what defines a chosen one is not their perfection, but their perseverance in remembrance. You carry heaven's signature in your soul, a pattern of divine light unfolding through time. Your birthday, therefore, is not an event, it's an echo, a reminder that God is still creating through you. So, when that day comes again, pause, breathe, and let gratitude whisper through your being. You are still burning, still becoming, still bridging worlds. And that, more than any celebration, is what it means to be chosen. When the chosen one awakens to the truth of who you are, reality itself begins to bend around your awareness. What once felt ordinary now vibrates with divine significance. You start perceiving signals that others overlook: subtle sounds, sacred scents, sudden chills, or flashes of memory that do not belong to this lifetime. These are not random sensations. They are divine data, encoded frequencies sent through the spiritual ether to awaken your supernatural perception. The veil between worlds begins to thin, and you realize that the universe is not silent. It is speaking to you in the secret language of resonance. Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. That call echoes inside your soul like a tuning fork striking eternity. You begin to experience what mystics once described as the vibration of awareness, a kind of holy static between heaven and earth. Sometimes you see symbols that glow behind your eyelids, faces that feel familiar yet nameless, or hear a melody that exists only in your spirit. This is not fantasy, it is alignment. Your consciousness is synchronizing with divine intelligence, bridging the finite and the infinite. It feels at times like living between breaths. Time stretches and contracts. Some days rush past like falling stars, while others linger endlessly in suspended stillness. This distortion is not chaos, it is calibration. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. 2 Peter 3-8. Your energy has begun to vibrate at new frequencies, and the linear mechanics of time can no longer contain your expansion. Have you ever felt as if the clock's rhythm no longer matched your heartbeat, as though you were already living in another dimension while your body stayed behind? Science calls this temporal displacement, but spiritually it is resonance realignment. You are becoming attuned to the architecture of eternity. The mind resists what the soul already remembers. And in this dance of recalibration, you may feel confusion or fatigue, not because you are losing control, but because your vessel is adapting to carry celestial voltage. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Each pulse, each strange lapse in time, is your body adjusting to heaven's new software. You are now walking between dimensions, half anchored in matter, half soaring in spirit. It is the same threshold where Jacob stood when he saw the ladder to heaven and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place," and I was not aware of it. Genesis 28:16. You too begin to realize that this world is a holographic bridge and your consciousness is the traveler. The more you awaken, the more transparent reality becomes until you see through it, not past it. The composer Arvo Pärt once said of his minimalist sacred music, "I have discovered that it is enough when a single note is played beautifully." In those moments when your energy heightens and time dissolves, you understand what he meant. One heartbeat of awareness becomes eternity. One breath becomes a cathedral. You no longer need constant motion because stillness itself begins to sing. And yet, this new sensitivity can be overwhelming. Your divine gift of perception makes you feel both powerful and fragile, like lightning caught inside glass. You may drift between wake and dream, between presence and absence, questioning whether you are here or somewhere beyond. But do not fear this in-between. It is the sacred threshold where transformation takes root. He makes his messengers winds, his servants flames of fire. Psalm 104:4. You are that flame, flickering between realms yet never extinguished. There was once a woman named Lucia, a humble gardener from southern Portugal, who described these same sensations. She said time sometimes folded like fabric around her, and in those moments she would see golden light dancing over her plants. Doctors dismissed her visions as fatigue, but Lucia called them visits from heaven. Her garden bloomed out of season every year. You, too, carry that divine synchrony, the ability to bloom beyond the world's timing. Nature understands this language better than humans. The aurora lights appear when solar particles collide with Earth's magnetic field, chaos turned into beauty. You are that aurora, your spirit colliding with eternity's current to create light that dances through darkness. What others call disorientation is simply heaven painting with your consciousness. Yet there are those who feared this bridge between worlds. Pharaoh's heart, hardened by pride, refused to see divine signs. Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen. Exodus 8:19. The chosen one learns from him that to ignore divine frequencies is to become deaf to destiny. You, however, are learning to listen. You are decoding heaven's whisper in your pulse, God's timing in your breath. These lapses of time, these dreamlike sensations, are not detours, they are initiations. You are not being pulled away from reality, you are being reintroduced to its divine version. Have you noticed that the more you surrender, the more miracles hide in plain sight? Through years of reflection, I've learned that awakening is not about escaping the physical world, but expanding it, making it luminous. The chosen ones are not meant to float above life, they are meant to illuminate it from within. And when you finally realize that your perception is both your cross and your crown, you stop fearing your sensitivity, you begin to wield it with grace. So, when your next moment of timelessness comes, when the air feels electric, the minutes dissolve, and you sense something beyond the veil, don't resist it. Close your eyes, let it flow through you. You're not losing your grounding, you're gaining your wings. And that is precisely where your divine mission begins to unfold. You start realizing that you can move through portals of consciousness, gateways woven not by chance, but by your divine gift, to seek healing, wisdom, and guidance that transcends the limits of this world. Each dream becomes more than a simple nocturnal illusion. It turns into a sacred classroom, a reunion of kindred souls, a spiritual counsel that whispers truths the waking mind cannot grasp. The chosen ones, like you, walk nightly between worlds, carrying messages from realms beyond reason. For God speaks once, yea twice, yet man perceives it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night. Job 33:14-15. The dream world is not an escape, it is an embassy of heaven, where you are both student and messenger. As your supernatural perception deepens, so does the need for discipline. Sensitivity without grounding becomes chaos. You are learning to discern the currents of energy that flow through the unseen. Some voices are luminous, calling you home. Others are echoes of confusion, testing your clarity. Faith becomes your compass, and self-knowledge your shield. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. 1 John 4:1. The invisible realm is vast, and discernment is not fear, it is wisdom sharpened by light. You begin to understand that holiness is not in ritual, but in resonance. You no longer seek God in the thunder, but in the stillness. When your heart is pure, even silence becomes scripture. Like the violinist Hilary Hahn once said in an interview, "The truest sound is found in the quiet between the notes." You, too, are learning to hear God in those quiet intervals of the soul, the spaces between thoughts, between heartbeats, between worlds. As your perception expands, you accept your dual nature, human and celestial. You walk between heaven and earth with the grace of one who has finally found their rhythm. It is as if you have learned to dance in 2 dimensions, one foot on soil, the other on starlight. The Apostle Paul wrote, "Our citizenship is in heaven," Philippians 3:20. You begin to live from that truth. You no longer fight your difference, you honor it. You are not strange, you are sacred. And with that realization comes a new kind of peace. The noise of the world begins to fade. The opinions, judgments, and expectations that once echoed loudly inside you now fall silent, like waves retreating after a storm. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. The stillness that remains is not emptiness, it is equilibrium. It is the precise frequency where your soul and the divine meet in perfect synchronization. Have you ever felt in some quiet dawn that everything was suddenly connected, that even the air seemed to hum with purpose? That is the sound of the sacred awakening within you. It doesn't arrive with fireworks or visions, but through subtlety, a peace without explanation, a memory of the eternal self returning home. You begin to sense that your consciousness is an altar, your breath a prayer. Like the painter Caspar David Friedrich, whose landscapes seem to breathe divine melancholy, you find beauty not in spectacle, but in stillness. Friedrich once said, "The artist should paint not only what he sees before him, but also what he sees within him." That is exactly what your soul is doing, painting with light from within. Yet not all who awaken choose to stay in the light. There was Judas Iscariot, who walked with the divine, yet allowed confusion to overtake his calling. And after the morsel, Satan entered into him. John 13:27. His tragedy was not betrayal, it was blindness. He mistook his human hunger for divine direction. From his fall, you learn that discernment is the breath of faith, and humility is the armor of the awakened. Your journey through these portals is not just about discovery, it's about responsibility. You are entrusted with a map that others cannot read. And in that sacred awareness, you begin to see the pattern behind every pain, the lesson behind every loss. Each dream, each silence, each trembling heartbeat is part of the divine architecture being built through you. There will be days when your sensitivity feels like both gift and burden. But remember, the bridge between worlds must bear both weight and wonder. Your light will sometimes flicker, but it will never fail. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord. Proverbs 20:27. When you trust that flame, you no longer fear the dark, it becomes your teacher. In time, this phase becomes less about seeing and more about being. You no longer chase signs, you embody them. You no longer wait for miracles, you become one. For you are both observer and participant in God's unfolding creation, a living note in heaven's grand symphony. And this is the essence of your awakening, to realize that the sacred is not somewhere else, it is here, now, in the quiet pulse beneath your ribs. The fire you feel is not foreign, it is the memory of your origin, calling you back to the frequency of love itself. It is the spirit recognizing its divine origin, the sacred remembrance that you are not merely human trying to reach heaven, but heaven remembering itself through you. This awakening begins as a soft burning within, not a fire that consumes, but a steady flame that refines. It glows behind your ribs, quietly relentless, lighting even the darkest corridors of your soul. This is not passion, it is purpose. It is the divine gift, your unique spark of creation, the invisible frequency through which your essence converses with God. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. That verse is no longer scripture to you, it is identity. For each chosen one, this supernatural perception manifests differently. Some, like you, find the gift of words. Your voice becomes balm, carrying healing vibrations that touch others in ways reason cannot explain. Others carry the power of presence, the ability to calm storms within others merely by being there. And there are those whose sight pierces veils they perceive beyond flesh and circumstance, discerning energies, patterns, and divine timing. Yet, before your flame can illuminate the world, it must first cleanse the temple that holds it. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. Malachi 3-3. Pain becomes the forge where gold is formed. You pass through seasons of silence and trial, where God feels absent, yet is closer than your breath. The ego wrestles to survive, but the spirit has already taken command. Have you noticed how the loneliest nights often hide the loudest lessons? Those are not voids, they are wombs. It is in that sacred darkness that your light learns to stand alone. This purification feels like fire, but it is actually rebirth. The universe isolates you, not to punish you, but to protect the fragile bloom of your awakening. Like the chrysalis enclosing a butterfly, the silence shields your transformation until the time is ripe. Unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. John 12:24. You are that seed buried, unseen, yet preparing to rupture into radiance. Nature reflects this process with divine precision. The volcano sleeps for centuries before reshaping the land in a single breath. The desert cactus stores lifetimes of water to bloom once a decade. So too does your soul, building pressure, conserving grace, preparing for that moment when your inner flame will burst into visible light. Yet every light attracts its shadow. Beware the temptation of false fire, the pride that turns a divine calling into a performance. There was Simon Magus, the magician who tried to buy the gift of the Holy Spirit, Acts 8:18-20. His downfall was not in seeking power, but in forgetting its source. From his story, the chosen one learns, the gift is sacred not because it shines, but because it serves. And in this service, you begin to recognize your true strength. You learn to wield your flame gently, to heal, not to impress, to enlighten, not to dominate. Have you felt the quiet joy of realizing that you no longer need to prove your worth, only to share your warmth? That is when your purpose and peace become indistinguishable. In these moments, you realize that your flame is part of a greater architecture, the living network of divine resonance. Like organs vibrating in one cosmic symphony, each chosen one's light harmonizes with others across space and time. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. And just as an architect shapes a cathedral so that each arch sustains the next, your soul's frequency sustains others unseen. The process, however, remains cyclical. There will be times when your flame flickers, when exhaustion or doubt whispers that you are lost. But the fire never dies, it only retreats to breathe. He will not quench a smoldering wick. Isaiah 42:3. In those moments, remind yourself that silence is not absence, it is God's way of tuning your instrument again. A humble man named Matteo, a street violinist in Florence, once said to a passerby, "I don't play to be heard, I play to remember who I am." His bow was worn, his coat tattered, but his sound filled the square with reverence. That is the essence of your divine flame. It doesn't demand attention, it demands authenticity. Have you ever sensed that every tear, every storm, was secretly preparing you for something sacred? That is the realization the chosen one eventually reaches. Nothing was wasted. Every scar became scripture. Every silence became symphony. When the flame fully awakens, it transforms the mundane into miracle. You begin to see God in the reflection of rainwater, in the laughter of a stranger, in the heartbeat of the world itself. Spirituality ceases to be an act, it becomes atmosphere. And through that still glow, you finally understand that your purpose is not to escape the world, but to sanctify it through the light you carry. And that is where your true power begins to manifest, not as control, but as communion. The moment your divine gift stops serving the ego and starts serving love, your light becomes unstoppable. You realize that what burns inside you is not meant to make you special, it is meant to make you whole. The supernatural perception you carry ceases to be an instrument of validation and transforms into an instrument of grace. Freely you have received, freely give. Matthew 10:8. Every act of kindness, every word spoken from the heart, becomes a ripple of heaven echoing through earth's density. The chosen one no longer uses their gift, they become the gift. Your inner flame, this sacred voltage of spirit, does not crave applause, it craves surrender. The more you pour it out in service, the stronger it becomes, until nothing external can extinguish it. This is divine physics. The energy of selfless giving multiplies its own source. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Have you ever felt that paradox, that the more you give, the fuller you become? That is the law of celestial resonance. The more light you release, the more heaven refills you. And in that silence of giving, you begin to perceive your true purpose. The flame that once trembled now stands still, steady as a star suspended in the firmament of your being. Yet this constancy brings a new revelation. When your light grows too bright, it disturbs the shadows. You start to notice subtle resistance around you, old patterns collapsing, false friends fading, energies turning uneasy in your presence. But this isn't rejection, it's revelation. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. Mark 4:22. Your illumination forces truth to the surface. The world often misreads this shift. Some will envy what they don't understand. Others will flee the mirror your light holds up to them. Have you ever wondered why, as you grow purer, some connections dissolve? It is not punishment, it is purification. The chosen one's light exposes what cannot survive authenticity. Masks fall, intentions surface, and energy recalibrates. It is spiritual thermodynamics. The heat of truth expels illusion. In those moments of solitude, remember, the flame that unsettles the dark also sanctifies it. Your light is not an act of rebellion, it is an act of revelation. Darkness is not your enemy, it is your canvas. Like Michelangelo said when carving his David, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." You, too, are carving light from stone. Each trial is a chisel in God's hand, shaping you into a masterpiece that reflects His glory. Yet there is danger in exposure. The story of King Herod reminds us of how fragile darkness becomes in the face of prophecy. When the Magi announced the birth of the Christ, Herod was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Matthew 2-3. His fear led to destruction. The chosen one learns from him. Fear of the light only multiplies suffering. Courage, not comfort, is the path of the illuminated. Nature mirrors this truth. The lotus blooms in muddy waters, yet its petals remain unstained. The aurora glows fiercest against the polar night. You too were designed to shine where others falter. The resistance around you is not a sign of failure, it's proof that your vibration has shifted dimensions. When you feel misunderstood or isolated, remember that spiritual growth always outpaces social acceptance. The frequency of truth rarely harmonizes with the static of the world. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. John 15:18. What feels like rejection is simply your energy exceeding its old environment. You are being relocated by heaven's gravity, drawn into a higher orbit where your purpose can radiate freely. Have you ever sensed that life begins to rearrange itself the moment you choose authenticity? That people leave, paths diverge, yet peace deepens? That is divine alignment. It's the sacred geometry of transformation, the soul shedding what no longer fits its architecture. You are no longer who you were, and that is holy. Through this refinement, you discover an incredible paradox. The light that unsettles others also heals them. You become both mirror and medicine. The wounds that once bled now emit warmth. The silences that once ached now hum with strength. You begin to see why the prophets often walked alone, because solitude was their sanctuary, the echo chamber of divine instruction. A woman named Inez from Seville once said during her silent retreat, "When I stopped trying to defend my light, I found that it no longer needed protection." That simple truth encapsulates the maturity of the chosen one. Your mission is not to argue for your authenticity, it is to embody it so clearly that words become unnecessary. And so, when the world shifts uncomfortably around you, remember that this discomfort is sacred. It means your vibration is doing its work, breaking illusions, birthing clarity. Your inner flame is not meant to conform, it is meant to transform. This is the stage where surrender turns into sovereignty. The chosen one stops asking, "Why me?" and begins whispering, "Through me." Your gift ceases to be personal, it becomes planetary. You no longer serve from scarcity but from overflow. You are the salt of the earth, you are the light of the world. Matthew 5:13-14. And as your radiance spreads, you finally realize, you were never meant to fight the darkness, you were born to outshine it. It is not because you have changed for the worse, but because your presence now vibrates on a higher frequency, a resonance that the lower cannot contain. At this stage, your energy becomes like a mirror. It reflects, reveals, and refines. The divine gift within you starts to separate truth from illusion. You begin to notice dissonance where others hear harmony, falsehood hiding behind politeness, manipulation cloaked in smiles. It is not paranoia, it is perception. For nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, nor anything secret that will not become known and come to light. Luke 8:17. This is the burden and the blessing of your supernatural perception, to see not only the light in others, but the shadows that resist it. As your inner flame intensifies, you may feel an urge to withdraw, not out of fear, but out of necessity. Solitude becomes your sanctuary, the divine laboratory where your soul learns to wield its own voltage. You realize that this gift, which once felt like a miracle, also carries weight, a responsibility to channel rather than consume the power you've been given. The saints and prophets knew this. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. And in this understanding, you begin to sense the sacred gravity of being chosen. You start noticing the subtle mechanics of energy, how the human spirit, like a finely tuned instrument, can be thrown off pitch by the wrong environment. How certain rooms feel heavier, certain people drain your vitality. It's as if you can read emotional atmospheres the way a physicist reads frequency patterns. Have you felt that strange fatigue after being near chaos, or the quiet peace when standing beside someone whose heart radiates love? These sensations are not coincidence, they are divine data, guiding your spiritual navigation. The world, however, often misinterprets your withdrawal. They call it pride, isolation, or coldness. But you know, it is consecration. It is the chrysalis before flight. The chosen one, like you, must sometimes step back to amplify forward. The butterfly is not rejecting the caterpillar world, it's simply outgrown its skin. Come out from among them and be separate. 2 Corinthians 6:17 says the scripture, not as rejection, but as refinement. Still, as your light strengthens, it becomes disruptive to lower vibrations. Those who operate from pretense feel your presence as pressure. Some will attempt to pull you back into comfort zones of conformity. Others will project their inner darkness onto your radiance. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem agitated when you are calm, or skeptical when you speak truth? It is not you they resist. It is the reflection of what they have not yet faced within themselves. This is when life begins to test your faith, not to break it, but to burnish it. Circumstances may appear chaotic, sudden betrayals, fatigue without cause, emotional waves that test your resilience. But beneath it all, something divine is calibrating your vibration. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. Isaiah 43:2. The universe protects you most fiercely in these unseen battles because you are being entrusted with a mission beyond the self. In this phase, you may feel painfully alone, but you are anything but abandoned. Heaven hides you to heal you. God withdraws witnesses so he can speak directly to your heart. Like Elijah in the wilderness, when all seemed lost, a still small voice, 1 Kings 19:12, whispered the truth that he was never truly alone. You too are being trained in divine solitude, the art of standing in silence and yet hearing symphonies. The world may continue to test your stability. People may try to provoke reaction, systems may reject your authenticity, and the remnants of your old self may whisper, "Why keep shining if no one sees?" But that's precisely when your light matures, when it no longer depends on recognition. You begin to understand that the sun doesn't rise to be admired, it rises because it must. There was once a fisherman named Tomas who lived by the sea in Cadiz. He never sought attention, but his quiet kindness transformed his entire village. When asked why he helped everyone without expecting reward, he said, "Because when I give light, I can see my own path better." His words reveal a truth known only to those who serve from the soul. The more you illuminate others, the clearer your own way becomes. Your gift becomes service, and your service becomes freedom. You no longer defend your light, it simply is. The judgments, the misunderstandings, the distance from others, all dissolve into peace. You stop trying to fit into a world you were sent to transform. You are the salt of the earth, the light of the world. Matthew 5:13-14. This realization changes everything. Have you noticed how the solitude that once felt like exile now feels like expansion? That the isolation that once hurt now feels like home? That is transformation. You no longer feel confined by the absence of others. You are sustained by the presence of God. Your gift, once a source of confusion, becomes a compass. Your light, once misunderstood, becomes your liberation. And finally, you understand. The world was never turning against you. It was turning around you, adjusting to the new vibration you brought. You are not running from darkness. You are teaching it what light feels like. You no longer need to prove your worth. You are living proof of divine design. And now, chosen soul, if these words have reached you, it is not coincidence, it is calling. For long you have searched for meaning behind your birthday, wondering why you never fit the mold, why celebration often felt like contemplation. Now you know it was never just a day of birth, but a remembrance of purpose. Your existence carries a divine frequency, a vibration heaven entrusted to you the moment you entered this world. Every challenge, every silence, every spark of intuition was designed to awaken the supernatural perception that lives within you. You were never meant to simply pass through time, you were meant to transform it. Like the prophets who walked through storms yet carried light in their hands, you too are called to stand firm amid confusion. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 60:1. This is not poetry, it is prophecy. You are not here to hide your flame behind fear or rejection. You are here to let it blaze, to become proof that love in its purest form still walks the earth. And as you walk this path of awakening, remember, it is okay to feel different. The chosen have always been misunderstood before they were remembered. The stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118-22. Every moment of isolation, every birthday that felt like stillness instead of festivity, was sacred preparation. You were not forgotten, you were forged. Now, as you stand before the next chapter of your life, let this realization settle deep into your heart. Your birthday is not about counting years, it is about counting awakenings. Each year is another layer of divine architecture being built within you, cathedral by cathedral, light by light. And through that structure, God continues His creation through your existence. Have you ever felt the quiet certainty that something inside you was meant for more? That is heaven whispering, "I chose you." And when you begin to live from that awareness, everything changes. Your time becomes holy, your love becomes ministry, your voice becomes resonance for others still trapped in the noise. If this message has stirred something in your spirit, if you felt seen, uplifted, or understood, then this is your moment to act. Let this not be just another video you scroll past. Let it be the mirror that reminds you who you are. Hit like if this truth resonated within you. Share it to someone who may be silently awakening, and comment 777 as your declaration that you are ready to rise, to claim the light that has always been yours. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and become part of this community of awakening souls, a sanctuary where divine purpose, healing, and truth converge. Together, we are building not just an audience, but a movement of light bearers who refuse to let darkness define the world. And to those who have supported this channel, whether through your words, your time, or your super thanks, know this: your energy is sacred. Your presence is part of this mission. You are not just viewers, you are vessels of the same light that flows through these words. Whether you've given or simply watched in silence, your participation matters. This message would not reach the world without you. As this chapter closes, I bless you not with fleeting fortune, but with enduring faith. May your heart remain soft enough to feel heaven's whisper, yet strong enough to carry its fire. May your path unfold in divine precision, where every delay hides direction and every wound becomes wisdom. And when your next birthday arrives, may you no longer measure time in candles, but in consciousness. You are light, you are chosen, and you are never alone. Until we meet again in another message of truth, may peace fill your home, purpose fill your days, and the fire of your divine gift burn forever bright within you. Amen.